The First Amendment has four different parts to it. It offers the freedom of religion in the Establishment Clause, freedom of speech and the press, along with freedom of assembly and petition.
You know you make me wanna shout, kick my heels up and shout, throw my hands up and shout, throw my head back and shout, come on now.
The First Amendment allows for freedom of speech and the press, which means that the government may not jail, fine, or impose civil liability on people or organizations based on what they say or write. Freedom of speech and press extends to symbolic speech, like burning the American flag. The freedom of speech does not protect, however, words to incite actions that would harm others, making or distributing obscene materials, and defamation with false statements that would damage a person's reputation.
Jesus, take the wheel.
The Establishment Clause makes it so there is no nationally established church and prohibits Congress from enacting laws for any particular religion. The Free Exercise Clause allows for the free practice of religion in America, allowing people to freely engage in whatever religious activities that they want. The First Amendment does not protect those who take illegal actions for religious purposes.
All this together, when we reach, we can fly, go inside, we can make it. We're all in this together.
The First Amendment protects both the freedom of assembly and petition. While some assemblies occur spontaneously, some do not. The First Amendment allows for planned assemblies that the Supreme Court recognizes as right of association. The right to petition the government for redress grievances allows for one to petition the government to incite change.
I got a Glock in my Rari. I got a Glock in my Rari. I got a Glock in my Rari.
The Second Amendment is known as the right to bear arms. The amendment was created because many of the founding fathers believed that the governments are prone to use soldiers to oppress the people, and that the federal government should have the power to organize a militia in case of quick war times. There is still controversy to this day as to what the framers intended by this amendment, which makes it difficult to process and understand.
Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house.
The Third Amendment states that soldiers are not allowed to cordon homes if the people deny them access. It is the only part of the Constitution that deals with the relationship of the rights of individuals and the military during both peace and war, and suggests that people are protected from government intrusion in their homes.
Back and I know my rights, so you gon' need a warrant for that.
According to the Fourth Amendment, the people have a right to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects, and against unreasonable search and seizures. Officials have to have probable cause or a certain suspicion of criminal activity in order to search a home. Although the warrant is required in theory, there are many exceptions that in practice warrants are rarely used. Police can search automobiles without a warrant, they can detain people on the streets without them, and they can search and seize without a warrant in cases of emergencies. The first of the Criminal Procedure Clause within the Fifth Amendment requires that felony offenses in the federal court be charged by grand jury. The next part deals with double jeopardy protections, which means you can't be charged for the same crime twice. The third procedural protection in the Fifth is the right to remain silent and no self-incrimination. The Taking Clause of the Fifth Amendment says the government may take a private home or store or land as long as they pay you with a reasonable amount of money for the worth of that.
Into the courtroom my trial began, where I was handled by 12 honest men.
The Sixth Amendment includes several rights for criminal defendant or criminal cases, guarantees the right to public trial without necessary delay, rights to a lawyer and impartial jury, and allows the defendant to see who the accusers are. This amendment is designed to make criminal prosecutions more accurate, fair, and legitimate.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.
The Seventh Amendment requires civil jury trials only in federal courts. The Seventh Amendment has two clauses. The first one, known as the Preservation Clause, provides that a right of trial by jury is preserved if the value of controversy exceeds $20. The second clause is known as the Reexamination Clause, and it declares that no fact tried by a jury shall be reexamined in any court of the United States.
Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too?
The Eighth Amendment states, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines be imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. It prohibits the federal government from imposing harsh penalties on criminal defendants. There are several controversies with cruel and unusual punishment, and the largest one at present is whether or not the death penalty is violating the Eighth Amendment rights or not. The Ninth Amendment states that enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people, which determines that there are other rights that may exist aside from those specifically mentioned in the Constitution, and even though they are not listed, they still may not be violated under the Ninth Amendment. The 10th Amendment allows for powers that are not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor those prohibited by the states are given to the states respectively or the people. The 10th Amendment gives rights to the states and takes away power from the national government. The 10th Amendment is very open-ended to the powers given to the states.
Oh, beautiful, our heroes proved in liberating strife.